Well, good morning, Glue Troopers. And I stepped on the scale this morning. My weight's creeping back up. So, honey says I have to go do a walk, start getting my exercise again, which is good for my hip anyway. So, let me put on my go outside and get sweaty shirt and let's take a walk. See you outside. So we're out here in my neighborhood again, just going for my little walk. Kind of limited how far I can go with the hip, so I'd say it's a little over half mile, kilometer or so. But it's some exercise. I might have to buy another exercise bike. Maybe I'll get a Peloton. So yesterday after the live stream, I went back out to the Tarbis, started working, and got at this time the Oldsmobile, given the trouble I had with that fleet side, getting the paint to look even on it, the white kept showing through. I went ahead and put a gray primer coat on it, and that helped because the paint that I used, I did have some trouble with the nozzle being gummed up, so I switched out nozzles. Thank God I did some test shots. Always do test shots with your paint, especially it's been sitting for a while. So got a pretty nice coat on it. I got to be honest, I'm kind of happy with that paint job. So I gave it overnight to harden. I'll start working on it today. Interior is going to be black. I got motivated by the job that John Kitt did with the character that he put on his motorcycle. He took I believe this was a plastic styrene character. I used the resin Jim Hunt character that I got from Mark Tyler at Immense Miniatures, and getting him to fit in that car meant doing the old more than just the old magician trick of the lady in the box. I not only chopped him in half, but I had to remove a good chunk of torso and everything, and the arms and everything weren't quite the right dimensions, but good enough, close enough. And because I wanted to reach forward and reach the steering wheel, but just wasn't long enough, and I couldn't get it up close enough. And part of the problem was that the miniature wasn't made for this. It was a standing figure, and of course you need to bend knees and everything else to get him in the seat. So getting the head down low enough, I had to pull a bunch of tricks. First, I heated up the bottom of the seat and mashed the resin figure into it to actually get him to sink into the seat to get that squish that we get when we all get into a car seat. That helped. But I realized that the character was still going to be too tall, so I heated the seat again and reclined. I liked using heat because it was a little, if I was to cut the seat and reglue it, you create a weak point, and it was just easier to heat it and just lean it back a little bit, and it worked great. And so I've got him head forward, lean back, in sort of the low rider configuration. With I cut one arm off and reposition where it's supposed to be like hanging out the window, the other will be like reaching for the shifter, and it's just going to give that hey guys I'm cruising look, and it's working. So I've got that on the way. I'd like to finish that model today if I could, but overall I'm real happy the way it's looking so far. Just don't screw it up now, Max. And also I got the buffalo painted. I got the bottom put gray and then mixed the blue, which really looked a little bit too light, the shade, but when I looked at the reference photos, like, yeah, I guess it is actually about right. Part of it is it's so clean, and once I weather it, it'll look a lot better. But I used the big high pressure Awada spray gun, which is the big job that I have, and unfortunately it was a little too powerful for the way I had put the seams up on it, and I got a lot of I was trying to get a feathered edge, but a lot of it got past and went underneath the airplane, underneath the little barrier I'd set up. I just applied that thing puts out so much paint, it just ran. But not a problem, because as I again looked at the reference material, I realized that the gray that I used was too dark, so I'm going to have to reshoot the underside with a lighter shade of gray anyway. Also started peeling off some of that mask I was using. I gotta figure out a good way to get it off. I guess a toothpick, because some of it doesn't want to let go. But Overall, the canopy looks okay. There was a gap between the sliding canopy and the back glass where a hint of overspray of the primer got on the inside of the glass, but not too bad. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So, making a lot of progress on the Buffalo and on the 442, and looking forward to, like I say, hopefully finishing those up in the next couple of days. Now, tomorrow I have to go back to work. I'm not setting myself a schedule. If I get them done before I go, that's great. If not, then not. I mean, we're building models here. We're not, doing heart surgery. So those were the two main focuses yesterday. And it really felt, I thought about going ahead and putting out a video last night. I was like, nah, we just did a 2-hour live stream to save it for today. And that's where we're at on that. My wife and I watched a movie last night with Mila Jovovich. Now, there's a reason I'm getting into this movie. I know a lot of you guys like to build military vehicles, and you like to build kaiju. Well, this movie is called Monster Hunter, and it's by Toho, and it's got elements of aliens and Tremors, and every kaiju movie there are monsters in it. A little bit of, whoops, turn the button the other way. A little bit of Rodan and Anguillus. It's a fun popcorn movie, and except for some of the aircraft like the V-22 Osprey and the AWACS aircraft at the end, except for those, it's actually really great special effects. It also has a little bit of Hell in the Pacific, if you remember the old Lee Marvin movie, where he and the Japanese soldiers are stuck on the island together and have to learn to put their differences aside. And then there's just get your popcorn, watch the movie. But that, no one, I'm sure, because that movie just came out, and I knew I had to see it when I heard it was banned in China. I was like, well, it's banned in China, it's good enough for me. So that's some stuff that you'd have to hand make the monsters, because no one makes those creatures. And there's there's also some Game of Thrones in there. I kept waiting for Daenerys Targaryen to show up. But fun movie. Has Ron Perlman in it in an all too small role, but pretty much I'll watch anything with him or Sergeant Clancy Brown, Sergeant Zim from Starship Troopers. Two of my literally favorite Hollywood heavies. And by the way, on a side note, if you guys remember Starship Troopers, Rico's always, and his lieutenant before him, old Michael Ironside, always going like, all right, you apes, you want to live forever? Apparently, that's a real phrase. I think that was used, I believe it was by Smedley Butler. No, Butler was, if I remember correctly, he was a career Marine who, probably one of the most highly decorated guys in the history of the Marine Corps. And he fought a lot in the Banana Wars. And after he retired from the Marine Corps and kind of took a look at what was going on, he wrote the book. I believe he's the one that wrote the book, War is a Racket. And so I haven't read it, but I understand it's an interesting book. But anyway, I realized that when I was thinking about that, I have never seen a model of or diorama of anything out of the Banana Wars. That's the little small wars we had down in Central America in the 20s and 30s, where the Marines invented dive bombing, and also where they had the start of their love affair with the Thompson submachine gun, because the Auto Ordnance was having a real problem selling their Tommy guns after World War I. The war had ended, nobody needed them, they were expensive. The Marines got a bunch of them, used them in Central America, and they just loved them. The Army actually wasn't that big of a fan of them, but well, until World War II broke out, and of course the British needed every gun they could get their hands on when World War II was on the horizon. But I remember correctly, I think Auto Ordnance actually went bankrupt and sold all their stock to Colt or somebody who wound up selling them off when the time was needed. But that kind of gets back to Smedley Butler's comment on war as a racket. And but that's Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't even think I've seen a kit or even a homemade diorama or anything of anything out of the Banana Wars. And there's actually, I think, an old movie I saw a while back about Marine Corps, Navy or Marine Corps, and it was Marine Corps aviators fighting in the Banana Wars. I think I saw that not that long ago. So, and it was those interwar biplanes that were, I forget which exactly model it was, maybe the same thing they sent after King Kong in the original movie, but with the Helldivers. Those airplanes would make an interesting subject to model, but a lot of rigging on those, as I recall. So, because they were post-World War I technology. But anyway, that's what I got for this morning. Once I'm done with my little walk here, I'll get out the Tarbus and get out to the Tarbus and start tinkering on those models. Now that I also did a little touch-up work on the Vostok too. Just a few bibs and bobs that I'd left off, nothing you really even noticed. But now that I got the Vostok, the Buffalo, and the 442 nearing completion, that was especially the Vostok and the Buffalo will finish off the half-built kits. The 442 is actually going into this, going into the stash. And a couple of things in that short stack, and then off to other stuff. Probably gonna start working on that kit bash, but I have got to clean the shed up, make some room, because I want to get back to multiple projects, which I'm doing now, but right now I'm incredibly cluttered. So I want to get these finished up, then clean up the Tarbus. Those old Universal toys, those 1/16 scale Zero and Spitfire, I'm gonna have to hang those up in the garage or something. I didn't build them, so there's no sentimental attachment to them, but I've got to find a way to just clear up that desk space. So anyway, also I got a guy who might be buying my FMS Stuka around July 4th, that RC that I have. I'll clear up a little bit of room. Well, that's what I got for today, guys. You take care and model on.